So what do we have in my garage today but my wife's 2001 Nissan Quest. This is a pretty common problem with these Nissans. This is the second time I've had to fix it. The front motor mount on these things tears, or the rubber goes out. If you look at this, they actually tear right here on either side. And therefore, when you hit the gas, the engine jumps up and then slams back down, and it causes kind of a thud sound inside the car. So I just picked this up at Napa for $27. Like I said, I've replaced it. This will be my second time, so I guess I'm kind of an old hat. The only bad thing is it is a royal pain in the butt to get to. It is underneath here, and if you see right there, there's the two bolts for the bottom of it, and it's up in there. I don't know if you can see where it's torn, but on the other side you can. So all this has to come out all the way around to get to it. All right, so before we go any further, I want to make sure we go over some safety. A lot of people completely overlook this and do this in just a complete incorrect, dare I say, redneck fashion. I can say redneck because I am redneck. So anyway, want to make sure that the car is supported on jack stands on the frame all the way around. I say all the way around on the front where you have it up in the air. You never ever want to leave it on a jack, because these things are notorious for leaking down. I don't care how good your jack is, they're notorious for doing that. Also, you want to put some jacks, or I'm sorry, chocks back here, so that way car doesn't roll down the hill. An emergency brake is not good enough. You always want to chalk your rear tires. Other than that, I'm going to get down there and take it all apart, show you guys exactly what I'm doing and so on and so forth, because there's a time where I'm going to have to actually use this jack to jack the engine up to be able to get the thing out. I had to break out the heavy artillery for this lower motor mount bolt and nut, which they're right here on either side. They were really tight. I guess I put them on with Loctite or something like that. So here's what I was talking about, having to support the engine. You have to take the load off of the motor mount to make it work properly, or so you can get the bolts out. Otherwise, they're actually sitting on there, and the minute you take them out, or if you manage to get them out, the motor's going to slam down on your fingers. So anyway, you need to make sure that take the load off of there with this with a jack, and I just have it right on there's a little engine hump right there, and I put a little pad underneath it to jack it up. Just take the load off. So now I've got those two off. There is actually, look, up in there, it's kind of hard to see. There is a bolt. There it is, right there. Right there. That is the bolt that slides out and will allow you to pull the whole bolt out. So it's my next objective. Well, it's as simple as that. By the way, these motor mounts use 5/8 inch bolts, and you can see it is now free. Now I guess the real tricky part is, how do you get it out of here? Well, you can either drop the front motor or the whole engine cradle right here to get it out, but I've found if you just jack the engine up far enough to free itself from the little its little perch up there, it slides right on out this other side, kind of by the oil filter. So I'm going to do that next and see how far we can get it, if it's going to work. So we're going to jack this up a little more. All right. Just a little bit more. there it is. Slides out just like that. And then look at this. See? And it actually completely slides out. So, like I said, this is the second time this has happened. I don't know if this is just a fluke or if my lovely bride has a super lead foot. This thing has like 1,000 foot-pounds of torque and it keeps tearing this out. But so I need to go in there and get this back installed and get us down the road. Okay, so we have our brand new one that I'm going to slip up in here. Same way I took the old one out. Kick the old one out of the way here. It always seems that getting it back in never as easy as the way it came out. But this one's slid in just perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the lower bolts in. So now all I'm going to do is torque these down. All right, so let me show you what I got here. You see there's the two lower bolts and the upper one went through. Up there you can see it right there. That's the one that went through. So now you can see a good clear shot of that where that motor mount is. I guess it takes a whole lot of the brunt of the torque of this engine, but you can see she's been hitting some stuff. Could have helped it also. Well, there you have it. Got it all tightened up and dropped it down and got it off its jack stands. Took me about, I don't know, 40 minutes max from start to finish. I had a little bit of time for messing with the camera. That's it. I got my little helper here. He's going to go ahead and start it up. Let's see if we got a fixed engine. Go ahead. Before, when you revved it, this valve cover would come up like this. Looks like it's fixed. Beautiful. All right, shut it down. I did the belts on this thing not too long ago. That was a royal you-know-what whipping. Getting them down inside there and getting it tensioned properly. It doesn't have a tensioner pulley like most of these serpentines have these days. You actually have to do it old school, like taking the pry bar and prying against the alternator, power steering pump, but you'll have to do it from underneath or with the tire off. It was a whipping. So anyway, this just shows that you can do it. It took 5/8 inch open end and a 5/8 inch ratchet. I use my air tools just because I've got them, but you know, you can do them with the standard hand tools. And replace that motor mount. You need to replace it because if this engine keeps going up like this, it actually touches the firewall in the back, and it can actually mess up other connections and cause oil leaks and so on and so forth. So if you have a broken motor mount, don't drive around with it. Gotta get it fixed.